We are up to Daf Nun Zayin Amud Aleph. We're continuing the saga of Churban Bayis Rishon and the different and by Sheni, Menachem Sheni. We're talking about the different events that happened here that led to it. We finished Kamsa and other things as well. Now we're up to the Gemara in the middle of the page, that actually towards the bottom of the page. We're up to the beginning of the line is Rab Min Yuma. It's about 20 lines from the bottom of the page. So okay, we learned about Haryana, Turiana, and so on. Rab Min Yumi bar Chilkiah. Rab Min Yumi the son of Chilkiah. Rab Chilkiah bar Tuvia, and Rab Chilkiah the son of Tuvia. Rab Huna bar Chia. Have a Yasik Abba the whole thing that Amri they said. Does anybody here hear about Milsa anything about Kvarsakanya Shomitzrayim? There's a place called Kvarsakanya where the people there tzaddikim, where the people there to show him, and eventually got destroyed. Who were they? Lema, speak up. So Pasach Chad Menai Vama. So there are a number of stories that were shared. One of them said, Maise Ba'odus V'Adusasa. There was a story about an incident about a male and a female who were engaged from that city. They were taken captured by the Goyim. They were made to marry each other. Amrullah, she said to him, I ask you a favor. Al-Tigabi, you cannot approach me. Since we're Rabbanan, we need a ksuva, and even though we're forcibly not married, we have to sleep together. That don't touch me. They were taken captive for the rest of their lives, and he never touched her. When he died, she said to them, Siptu Lazeh, I want you to make a eulogy about my husband. He despises Yetzirah, even greater than Yosef Tzaddik. That on Yosef, there was only one opportunity they had to be together, and he makes a big thing out of it. But I call you every day we live together. He didn't touch me. Exactly, they were married. His wife. Exactly. No one. Exactly. Fair enough. But they did because of a ksuba, which is only Madurabanan. She that's the first thing. Pasach, another person said, there's a story about the town of Karsikin. A certain measurement, 40 of them cost a dinner, which is very cheap. Suddenly they were only getting 39. And the rabbi did an investigation. What's going on here? Why are we being punished? They found an incident where a father and a son, a father and his son, they had relation. I mean, couldn't pick a better day. Yom Kippur, the relation with the married woman you get skilled for. The Havin lebezim, they stole them. The Chazar Hashal and suddenly the price went back to normal. So, there's such a tzaddikim that if anything goes wrong, Big Ashby already knew that it contributed to some kind of an aveda. The third person said, there's a story of the person, he wanted to divorce his wife. But the ksuva was he promised her all these wonderful things. He wanted to get out of paying a ksuva. So what do you do? If the reason why he divorced her is because she did not follow Das Moshe and Das Yehudis, the Jewish tradition, like learning ksuvas, then she forfeits her ksuva. So he wanted to pretend as if she went off Yiddishkeit. So what he did was, he invited them good friends, and the Hechilan, the Heshkan Shikran, he gave them to eat, to drink, and they were all inebriated. The Heshkivan al Mitach fell asleep. The Hevi Loivan Bey, he brought the white of an egg. The Hitul Benayan, and he put it between them and her. The Hemilanay, he brought them witnesses. Ubal the Bezdin Hagodl. Now the witnesses he brought were false witnesses saying that they had an affair. And he wanted just to reinforce what they're saying in case people doubted it. He put the white of an egg there. Ubal the Bezdin, he came to Bezdin saying, look, I'm going to divorce her, and she forfeits Ksuvah. There's one older man with Talmidei Shammai Zaken, from the students of Shammai. Ubaba ben Butter Shmai. We'll learn about it in the beginning of Basa. There's a great man called Baba ben Butter. Amalahan, he said to them, and he was a Talmud of Beshamai. Kach mekubalni Beshamai Hazak. This I heard from my dad Beshamai. Loiven Beya, you want to know if you want to be able to tell what's the acid test to tell whether it's Shich Zera, whether it's semen, or whether it's the white of an egg, is soylid. What happens is put a fire next to it and see how it reacts. If it's the white of an egg, it will shrivel up. Of the Shich Zera will run away from will flow away from it. So it'll get absorbed. It won't shrivel up. They found, sure enough, it was a white of an egg. They view the bezin. They brought it into bezin, and they gave him. They whipped him. They took his silver. So now that story itself is exactly the opposite of the first two stories. The first two stories bring out what kind of tzaddikim they were for Sakanya. This story shows that not everybody is a tzaddik. I guess what the Gemara is trying to say here is you can't just make these general statements. Every person is different. You see right here. My time, you understand. So two stories out of three demonstrate what kind of tzaddikim they were. So why? Because in this last story, he shows there was more than just one person who was not a tzaddik. You had the two false witnesses. Two false witnesses. So you have three people already in one town that were not tzaddikim. They were showing. And to say that he only brought the witnesses to say that he saw the white of an egg there is first, what do you need them for? Just bring the sheet with you and show them that this is the sheet they slept on, or bring the bezin to the house. So the witnesses actually said they saw them do the act. My time is, why were they punished? The one fault they had was they weren't mourning Yerushalayim, the loss of Yerushalayim. See, it says a pasuk that Simchas Yerushalayim, those who rejoice in Yerushalayim, the Giluba, and will be happy with it. Kol Oyaveh, all those are lovers, Sisa Ita Mesais Kolavs Alam Allah, and Yerushalayim will rejoice with all those who mourn after her. Ashkod, the third thing we said was that caused the big destruction was Ashkod, the wheel of a woman's chariot, the city of Beta was destroyed. There was a custom, it's a beautiful custom. When a boy was born, shot the Arza, they used to plant a male cedar tree. When a girl was born, shot the Tunisa, a female cedar tree. We learned there's a whole, there's a whole bunch of species of what do you call it? 10 kinds of cedar trees. When they got married, what they would do is they'll cut down the two trees and make a chup out of it. But they made a chup out of it. One day, part of the case, the princess was traveling. Her wheel of a chariot broke. Innocently, the people went, they saw the cedar trees there, they knocked one of them down, they chopped one of them down, the idol, and brought it to her to make a wheel out of it. Also, the people came and jumped on these on the Romans, on these people, and they went and beat them up. The Eden were very violent in those days. Or the fact that they were so careful about them and hugging, and you sort of interfered with their minute. Also, they went under the case, and they said the case, and the princess was here, look what they did. Also, he went and he attacked that city. God has a pasuk. God he chopped down Bechari out of anger. Kokani Yisrael, the pride of the Eden. 80,000 Tanim Muhammad, 80,000 leaders. So Keren here, a horn is a people usually you summon other people. So these are like leaders. Shenichel lekrach beta, they entered beta. Bishar shalachdu, and when they captured it, v'hargaba, and they killed anoshim v'noshim v'taf. Men, women, children. Their blood was pouring. The Nafal Yama Godel fell into the Mediterranean. Shema Tema Kareva was right there. The Chayka is a meal. It was much more than a meal away from any close body of water.
Beitar of today is the same Beitar of today.
Tanya, we learned there was a an area called Bikazidayim, and there were two little canals, there were rivers, going two different directions. I said, after this, 2/3 of the water was Echadam, 1/3 was blood. The Masnita on the Brisa we learned, the Gemara goes out of the way to paint the gory details of, okay, we got the message ready.
Did he bury them?
Yeah, that's having more bracha. That's when we made the the bracha, the fourth bracha benching. That finally will give permission to bury.
Mishra Sabot was one of the.
Why would they make? You want to go into gory details of exactly how much blood there was, but anyway, we'll see the story in a minute. For 7 years, the Goyim were able to what do you call it? To harvest their crop of vines. They didn't have to fertilize the fields because they had the blood of the Eden without any fertilizer. One of the people Yishmael told me, in this valley, Rav Tabachim, that was Radon, who was the Rav Tabachim, he killed over here 2.1 million, 210 times 10,000 Yidden were killed over there. 2.1 million Yidden. Yerushalayim killed Tishim Ba'abad, even 940,000. 11 achas on one stone. Daman, this is now the first base of Mikdash. It was rather than for Nebuchadnezzar, until the blood flowed. V'noga v'domesh hazachaya. It's like Gemara is trying to compare. So who was worse, Beitar or the first of the Churban Bayis edition? Until the blood came in contact with the blood of Chaya. Chaya was killed. Yeshaya was killed. I mean, you just try to picture. You have this great Nevi'im here. They were killed by the Yidden, the masses. They couldn't take all this, admonishment and being chastised and chided all the time. So this is how they dealt with it. But here was worse. It was the king that told them to kill Zechariah. It says that Yoash, the king, instructed. Rashi is right on top of the page. Yoash, the king, instructed when Yoash became a god. They used to worship him. He said, "Get rid of this Zechariah." The Kaim Hashnemet, to fulfill the passage where it says, "Bid-damim." No, the blood came in contact with the blood. So then Uzradan came into the area and he saw that the blood of Zechariah had come out. It was like still boiling away. It was solid and was flowing. Oh, my high. What's this? Where's this blood from? Amrulay said Eden were embarrassed. So they said, Dams, Vochim, Dishtapach. This is based on Mikdash. How much blood is spilled over here from animals? I said, he brought blood and it didn't compare. Now, blood of an animal might be different than a man, but we learned that by Yeshua brother, they brought the blood of a goat because it looks just like the blood of a man. So, this is your son Yosef's. So maybe that's what they told us. So goats. He said, if you tell me the truth, good. I will use these metal combs and tear off your flesh, flay your flesh. So the Eden had no breda. My name, I want to tell you, we had a Navi amongst us. He had the chutzpah to reprimand us on godly things. He's coming alive and he cut him. What do? We set upon him and we killed him. Well, a number of years already went by and the blood is still seething. Took this Sanhedrin Doeg Tana, Kotel Alayu, he killed them all, and he had their blood on top of Chaya. It didn't in any way improve. Then took Bochi Upsulas, people who didn't do any Avedis, and Kotel Alayu also didn't rest. He then brought little kids. Kotel Alayu it still didn't stop. Amalei. So then he turned to the blood. He says, Chaya. I took the best from them, the Sanhedrin, the Bochim, and the you want me to kill everybody? The moment he said that, the blood stopped. Look what happened here. So he butchered, he's called a butcher. He killed, as Gemara said on top of the page, 940,000 in Shalim. Killed 2.1 million. And by he tried to hit a tshuva, he decided to become a Yid. Ahmad, said, was killed innocently. Look what happened. And I killed more than 3 million Yidden. What's going to happen to me? Arak he fled. Ozil he went. So he sent a letter, a will, a last will testament to his house. The guy became Jewish.
Could you imagine the base thing?
Yeah, how can they accept his Yiddishkeit? A butcher who killed 3 million Yidden. It's like we have a rule that cannot take a gain from our mullah because what he did to the Eden. How in the world did he accept his gain as Nizrazim?
Turn around and say, I want to be
there's a famous, probably an anecdote. But Eichmann said he wants to become Jew before he dies. So we one Jew less in the world. Never. Well, you're right. It's difficult to comprehend who's Megayirin. And not only that, how did he think that David will accept him as a Yid after he butchered 3 million?
Unless maybe the base thing felt so intimidated by this.
Yeah, but the one sounds like he became real, as you will see. Tommy learned Naaman's the one who had leprosy and he went to Elisha to get a bracha. He became a Ger Toshev. Big machlek what Ger Toshev is in the Gemara and in the Shenim. Whether just he doesn't worship idols anymore, or he doesn't he does all the mitzvahs b'neich, because Moshe Rabbeinu said, or he does all the mitzvahs except kashrus. And he was a Ger Toshev. Neguzrad and Ger Tzedek. So this is genuine. This is real. He became a Ger Tzedek, and he was accepted. No comment there. But the children of the grandchildren of Haman, they learned Torah b'nei Brak. I saw a beautiful medrash a few years ago. How come Haman was zeicher that his grandchildren we're learning Torah b'nei Brak. So it says in the Medrash, when Achashverosh said to Haman, the 10,000 kikar kesef that you gave, that you wanted to give, keep it. Haman, what did he do with 10,000 kesef? He gave it, he distributed it to the poor. And the schus of that, his grandchildren, anybody would go around and say, I'm one of the grandchildren from Haman, because we don't have any name. No one says it here. But there is a big controversy, a big shaila. How can it be that Bnei Bonav from Haman became Jewish when you're not allowed to take anyone from Amalek? And we're talking about Bnei Bonav here, they're all Amalek. How do we makabel them? Everyone talks about it. Just give you one answer. One answer is, even if we say Bnei Bonav, doesn't mean Ben Achaben, it could be Ben Achabas. And by Goyim, we always go after the father. So if his son-in-law was not an Amalek, he was somebody else, then the children, the next generation, are no longer considered Amalekim. That's how it's possible to become Bnei Bonav shel Sisra, and from Sisra's grandchildren, Lamdu Tanei B'Yishmaim. So this is the greatest punishment for these people, Ratzchim, who Rahman al tried to kill Yidden. The greatest punishment was that your own grandchildren are Yidden. We even had Titus, his nephew became Unklus. Bnei Bonav shel Sancherev, the grandchildren of Sancherev, Lamdu Torah B'Rabim. Man Inun, interesting, only one we asked about the Sancherev. Who were they? Shmaya v'Av Talyon.
Ironically, he was the one that never actually got to destroy Yerushalayim.
Yeah, he don't try to.
He ran away in a play. No?
Yeah. Who are they? Shmaya v'Avtalyon. Hainu the Chsiv. We had in Gemara Yuma there was one of the Kohen Gadol mocked Shmaya v'Avtalyon being Gadim. Hainu the Chsiv. This is what it says. And they were the Rebbe's of Shamain Hill. They're the ones who carried the baton of Yiddishkeit to the next generation. That I'm lists, the whole chain. In the Ein of Siv, it says a pasuk, Nosati es dama al tzachich sela lebilti haksois. It says a pasuk, I gave the Nosati es dama, that I gave the blood al tzachich sela lebilti hakosis. On the rock, it should never be covered again. Hakol kol Yaakov daim de Esav. What does it mean? The kol Yaakov not only daim in the hand of Esav. So crying and screaming, that's Yaakov, and that means that Yitzchak already foresaw the downfall of Beta. So he's referring to Hakoil ze Adrianus. That's Adrianus. Adrianus' case. Shahara Alexander Shemitzayim, he killed in Alexandria Shishim Ribui al Shishim Ribui, 1.2 million Yidden, to flying gates in Mitzrayim, double. And Kol Yaakov ze Aspicianus. So, and the Kol Yaakov, that is Aspicianus. Now, it's very difficult to say it's Aspicianus. Case of Shahada b'Kar Beta Abba Mezibi, killed in Kar Beta 4 million. The numbers are staggering. But it's very hard to say it's Aspicianus because Beta happened 52 years after Churban Bayis, and Aspicianus was the father of Titus. 55 years before, and Titus took over. Well,
the Yavin says it should be Adrianus.
Okay, Adrianus. Others say Arbas Alofim Ribu. These are all big numbers, which, as we know, that Taisa says, and Rambam says in other places that it's only a guzma, but to give you an idea, those big numbers. What's Yidayin Deis referring to? Zu Malchus Harshash that destroyed our base. I'll tell you again. Expression Batenu Nechalan, I'm not sure what the double expression is. Because Batenu is our base Hamikdash. So what do you mean by Heichalan? What's adding to that? And they expelled us from our land. Another pshat is Kolka Yaakov. You don't have a tefillah that helps if Yaakov was not involved. There has to be a Yid involved in that prayer. Even though we just learned yesterday about this guy who's that this person who jumps a mile and kills everybody, or a kilometer, and kills everybody in his path, that he shouldn't be able to affect me and my soldiers, and his prayer was answered. So the Mefarshim say must be had Jewish blood inside it. It must be that if a guy davens and it prays and it helps, that there's Jewish blood inside him. You don't find a war that a victor they don't have Zara Shleisa there involved. The Israeli army have also non-Yidden. Behind the Amar Rabbi Lazar says in Pasuk. This we said before, that the whole Churban Beis Hamikdash happened because of Kamsa by Kamsa, where they went and slandered the Yidden to the Roman government, and so many people died. It says the pasuk b'shoit loshem, because of the language techabe, that it gets hidden. B'cheruri loshem techabe, because of the loshem hara, that's when you got buried. I remember that. My in the pasuk, Al Bubble, Shom Yishavnu. We sat there by the rivers of Bubble. Gam Bechina, we cried. There's a chayil to remember Yerushalayim. Melamed Sharei Gerav David Churban Beis Hamrishon Churban Beis Sheni. David saw both Churbanos. Churban Beis Rishon, and this is all Nevi'us. Remember it says Al Bubble, Shom Yishavnu, Gam Bechina. We know they cried, and they all cut off their right thumb because they had to play violin, even though it became a mum. And by Sheni, the Chsiv Zechar Hashem Bnei Adam Es Yom Yerushalayim. They wanted to order Ada Yisrael, and that's the Romans. Again, difficult to understand the Ebenezer that we learned. That possible. Amr ibn Shmuel. Vitema Rabami, Rabami, Vamla say Mastis Braisa, Maisa Bedalad. This is an inspiring story. There were 400 Yeladim, boys and girls. Shenishbul Kala. They were kidnapped to become sex objects, boys and the girls, for the soldiers. They realized why they've been taken captive. They said that while they were on the ship, they were saying, you're allowed to commit suicide. That's the case. We know you're not allowed to commit suicide. What about here doing the Shem Shemayim? Are you allowed to? You're not allowed to. And we had more of it. Said, do you want us to take away, to take away the wet wool that they put on you so you'll die faster? And he said that David should do what he wants. No, but he didn't want to even assist in any way, in his own murder. So and then the guy did it, and he got Chayim Haba. So you're allowed to. They want to know whether they can. And obviously there were special people besides the Mesiras Nefesh. They also know how to learn. The oldest of these young boys and girls said to them, it says in Pasuk in Tehillim, Amar Hashem says, from Bashan, Ashiv, I will return them. Ashiv mimetzulas yam, I'll bring them back from the depths of the sea. I'll take them back from the depths of they know if they jump into the sea, they shall take us out and bring us to Elam Haba. The Bashan Ashiv means Bashan is as if it made up as an acronym. The Bain Shine Aryeh, from the teeth, the jaws of the lion. Those who were taken captive from our captives. Ashiv mimetzulas yam, Elu shatovim b'yam. They jump in the water, I will take them to Elam Haba. Kiva and Sheshama Yuladas, the girls heard the conversation. They all jumped into the sea straight away. No, when it came to action with his nefesh, theory is one thing, but the action with his nefesh, the girls led first. We had a similar story about Korban Pesach. The father said, "Whoever gets here first," and the girls got there first. They're much more enthusiasm when it comes to Yiddishkeit. Nasu Yiladu Kavuchem Atzman. The males made a Kavuchem. They said, "Ma halal shadak lekach." Ma the girls, they were going to be, to use for the gratification of the people, but in a normal way. And yet look at waste nefesh. They wanted to use the boys for the same thing, and it's not normal. Surely we have to jump in. Come to the Riyam. So they were inspired by the girls, and they jumped in. Regarding them, there's a pasuk which says, and referring to them as well, for you, Eibishter, we will die every single day. And because like sheep that went to the slaughter, which is what sheep normally do, and that's what they were Moshe Nefesh. Isha the pasuk Alecha Ragnu Kolayim is referring to the famous story of the Isha V'Shivana. We say it's Hanan and 7 sons. Here there's no name. 7 sons. Asur the case that came over the case. Amrulay. They said to him, to the oldest son, I want you to bow down to the Getchke. Amalahu, how can I? Cause but then there's only kecha. They took him out because they killed him. Asur they brought the second kid. The Kam made the case. Amalei Paula was going to want you to bow down. Amalei Kosa B'Toidel Yilochoy Legimachena upon it. Can't have. Interesting that each one brought another pasuk. What was the inyan of that? I'm not sure. Afkul Katlu, they took him out and killed him. Surely the third one, Amalei Paula was Amalei say, Kosa B'Toidel says pasuk Zavech Lecharim. If anybody's shech to another god, should be destroyed. Afkul Katlu killed him. I'll say the fourth kid, Amalei Paula was can't bow down to another god. Afkul Katlu. Took him out and killed him. The fifth one, only one God. Of course, I saw the sixth one, bow down to the Of course, they took him, they Ketlu, and they killed him. I saw later they brought the seventh one. Now he's a total failure, the king, in front of all of his, his entourage. He said, Hashem praises us, we praise him. That we want to substitute for another God. He wants to substitute for another nation. The case really felt humiliated. Couldn't get 7 little kids to go ahead and follow his bidding. So the case said, let me throw on the ground a ring that has my figure on it, my signet that has my finger, and just pick it up. At least for the optics, let people think that you finally one kid succumbed. You accepted the wishes of the king. Well, waste of time, Kesef. Chaval alecha Kesef. I'll cover that. You're so worried about your honor and dignity. That's why you want me to feign as if I'm bowing down. I'll cover that. What about David's cover? Surely you have to worry about it. Of course, they took him out to kill him. The mother said, "Yavu Nele, bring my son to me, because I can kiss him." Purta, my last kiss before he died. I mean, imagine the mother watching this happen. I mean, just picture it. Amrullah, she said to her son, "B'nai, my son, l'chu, do me a favor. You're going to go to Gan Eden. Tell Avram Avichem, Ato Kadam Mizbeich Echad. You had an Akedah, and he didn't. Eventually, nothing happened. Ani Akadat Yeshiva Mizbechas, and I just had 7 Akedas. And Afi also got. She went to the roof, but not when she fell down. The mesa she died. The mother of the children is so proud of her children. What else? Alecha haragnu kalayim. No, the pasuk. So right now we're learning alecha haragnu kalayim. I mean, people who are making that for the Eibishter. However, Shubalevi says zumila, brismila. That's alecha haragnu kalayim. Shnit nevishmini is given on the 8th day. So it's a kalayim every day. There are different brismen around the world. Now, why is a haragnu is what's it to do with death? So Rashi says, "Call the zimnim demayis." Sometimes Rashi says kids who have mila, it doesn't work out, and they pass away. No, we're talking about Tamid al-Chamim, that they're foolish enough to take a chaluk to show the Talmidim how to shecht, and they use it against the neck, and sometimes it goes a bit too far. Remember, it's a very sharp knife, very sharp blade. Anything. Call Mili. And of course, the Shlakish is not quoting Rabbi here, but Rabbi said something similar. Call Mili lech the inish benafshe. You can demonstrate on yourself whatever you want, bar mishchita, except shchita, because obviously, and v'davarach and leprosy, because it seems that if you show leprosy on your own body, somehow or another brings it on it as well. No, a positive thing. We learn Torah every day, and it's like we're dying. What do you mean? Again, the Shema Lakish. Now, this is fascinating. Rav Shimon Malach is the one who said, it's only if somebody who, like the whole world is dead, you're completely committed to it. She never says, and yet the Shlakish, when he came to this pasuk, give a different shot. He didn't use his own shot to explain that it's such a positive thing. It means learning Torah and immersing yourself in Torah as if you're prepared to die for it and nothing else exists. Referring there that the phone rings on Shabbos. You don't hear it. You don't hear it. So that's how it should be when you learn Torah. When the phone rings, you don't hear it because you're completely immersed, and the whole world is dead. Not only that you're dead. I mean, the whole rest of the world, if it doesn't exist, because now you're focusing on your Torah. Again, the Gemara decides to be so descriptive, and you have to know why. Why are so descriptive in those gory details? 40 saw of tzutzit tefillin, 40 saw of tefillin of boxes without the straps. Nimtu, they found Baroshe Haruge Better. When they came to Beverly Haruge Better, they found they're still wearing film. And they're 40 saw of it. Don't know what that number is in actual film. So there's actually 3 boxes of 40, 120. And the Mastid Rise learned 40 boxes of 120. So the first opinion says a total of 40, and the next opinion says 120. No argument. When it came to the head filling, which are much bigger than the hand fill, the hand fill. And Rashi says the head fill in the parsha is a separate, chamber. So therefore, it's larger. The Tfil it's smaller because you can have, it's one scroll and it's all wrapped up together. And l'chayda, we're not. This is the head, this is the hand. And l'chayda, the head fill they found on the heads, and Pasha is, and the hand fill they found in boxes. But other Mefarshim think that they learn that they're all found on the head. That even tefillin shiyad, they put it on the head when they're busy fighting, they couldn't wear it on the hand. They put the tefillin shiyad on the head as well. Not sure how it wrapped around the head, but they put it on the head. Amar Abasi, Abo Kavin Maya. You talk about gory details. Abo Kavin Maya, 4 kavin of brains. Nimtro 11 acha. They found smattered against 1 stone. Ulama Tishas kavin. It was 9. 9 kavin. Amar of Kahana, we came to show about Modi my Kora. What's the pasuk? It says that Bas Bovel Hashduda, that this there's a Bas Bovel. Ashrei Yishalach will get punished back. Ashrei Sheyoichid v'nipis eSavaycha l'Salah. Praiseworthy if you take the goyim over there and you smash the children against the rock. What's the idea of that? It's not that we're so vicious. It's to tell us what the Eden suffered, what the Eden endured, how they're taken and smashed against the rock. Okay, we'll stop over here. We'll continue tomorrow, Mitzvah.